Hello, hello. Deborah Roth here from Spirited Living in a new spot where from where I usually do my Inner Goddess Team videos. Specifically new in two places. I am at my mom's in Mystic, Connecticut, and given the not quite the theme, but connected to the theme of the goddess that we're looking at today, I'm outside and enjoying being outside. See, without without a jacket on. It's just a gorgeous day here, and feels like all that spring represents of fertility and things being born, both fauna and what's the phrase? Both plants and animals. This is the time of year when everything is being reborn and waking up, and so it felt particularly fun to be able to do this outside. So if you have joined me in the past, you know that what we do here is really embrace the qualities of the divine feminine, which are, and I say this so many times, which our world so desperately needs now. Compassion, cooperation, collaboration, bringing, an energy of peace and inclusivity, on and on. When I post this on YouTube, it usually goes up on Thursdays. There's a little eye in the corner of the video where you can tap to get more information about why I'm so passionate about bringing in these goddess archetypes from around the world, these images, these symbols of the divine feminine, and this very powerful energy from around the world. So all that said, I think my goddess, the goddess that I highlighted the last time was also a fertility goddess. This one is from the Baltic countries, and she, like so many, is an ancient one that is still revered and still acknowledged. I actually found this beautiful, very short little hymn to her from Lithuania or Latvia. I'm not sure where it was from. I found this very sweet little clip on YouTube honoring her. Her name is Laima, and she is the goddess of fate and childbirth. Hence, the fertility and the being reborn or being born this time of year, why it feels particularly powerful to be outside right now. She decides the lifespan of and the fortune of humans, good and bad, what we would call good luck or bad luck, misfortune or joys, and determines how you live. She looks at the expanse of your life and her decisions, both for humans, for plants, for animals. Her decisions are felt to be final, absolute, and so there's lots of ceremonial, and I'll share some of them with you, lots of ceremonial ways that she's been honored and celebrated in the past. She is deeply involved, given her fertility connection, with birth rituals, and she's invoked to and one of the ways that you can call on her is she's invoked to bring about to ensure safe labor and a healthy delivery and healthy children. In many traditions, and we've talked about this before, she has a trinity with two other goddesses, her sisters Dekla, who is the overseer of children themselves after Laima helps them to be born, and then Karta, who influences adult life. So in some traditions, she's considered part of this trinity. She is associated with the linden tree, which this is not. It just, if you know me, you know how much I love sitting under trees to meditate and do other fun spiritual things. The cuckoo bird, and sometimes appears in the form of a snake or a hen. And it's interesting because one of the first places that I went to learn about her also associated her with swans, which apparently is not so. Sorry, a bug just flew into my eye, something I don't experience when I'm in my office. And so she has many different associations that you can tap into. Offerings like hens, towels, or wool were given to Laima in a sauna, which was considered this ritual space for birth-related ceremonies. Sauna being the place of water where births can often happen. And in order to, and I said I would give you an idea of some of the rituals that happened around honoring, invoking Laima during the birth process. To gain favor of her, to gain favor of Laima, sometimes very complex rituals were performed with sacrifices and prayers, not only to Laima, but also to the goddess of the earth. And if I'm getting her pronunciation right, always a challenge with these international goddesses. Zeminela. First, the midwife would wash the baby with cold water and Laima's sweat in the sweat lodge. Then swaddle the baby, wrap the baby up, and after the baby was born, and the father would invite the father to drink, to fill a ladle with drink and to pray for the mother and the baby, and pour some of the drink on the ground for this earth goddess, for Zeminela, saying, Zeminela, be cheerful, bloom with our rye and wheat, be kind to the baby. That was their blessing, that was their invocation. And then after the greeting, the midwife would then drink a ladle of her drink. Ladles were big in this. I won't go through all of it, but any women who would gather to support the birthing mother would gather around in a circle and would pass a ladle of some kind of drink around the circle 3 times to invoke Laima and her and all of her blessings, along with Zeminela, and congratulating Zeminela on the entrance of this new being into the world and onto the earth. Later, and this is where the hen symbolism comes in, a laying hen was sacrificed to this goddess, and the hen had to be black or white or speckled, but not red. And it was killed with, that's weird, it was killed with a ladle and boiled, and then everyone passed the ladle around again 3 times, blessing all the relatives and friends who had gathered. So just very clear, very beautiful, very communally based celebrations during this birth time. And one of the other things that are connected with her are stones that would appear that embody the divine principles of Laima. And they were thought to really represent the emergence of all life, of its protection, and fertility. So childless women would place offerings on these stones that were, according to their beliefs, had Laima's feet embedded into them. And people would take water from those feet in the stones. They'd pour water on the stones, and they believed that this water that was from Laima's feet and the stones had a miraculous healing for anyone, but also for fertility powers. They would gather at that stone. Oh, I loved this one too. They would gather at that stone on Sundays that coincided with the new moon. So the new moon is coming up this Friday, April 17th. So if you've got any kind of fertility or healing that you want, you could invoke her, find a beautiful stone, and ask her to step onto it. And they would offer bread, wool, or linen. I'm not sure what the what the origin of that was, and money to that stone. And they would keep the stone near their barn, which they considered the deity of fertility and domestic happiness. So, sorry that my phone is moving around more than it is when I'm stationary in my office. And then they could also offer a staff, a stick, to this deity for the sick, to Laima. They would leave the staff hoping that Laima would bless it, and that any sort of sore legs, eyes, hand would be blessed and strengthened by Laima's. It was felt that heaven was her permanent residence, and that she would come to earth to fulfill her duties. When she was invoked by enough people, when she was brought into awareness that she would appear and protect the fertility of the living world, of the earth, and birth, and of course the fate, the lifelong fate. I think that's all I'm going to tell you about her. So that is Laima, the Baltic goddess. And there's different, I always also give my references, the places that I find out more information on my YouTube channel. Oh, I have 2 images of her too. I forgot to show you. This one, I always love to find kind of original ones. This one looks very much from a Baltic tradition. And she is standing with wheat at her feet and looking ever much like a goddess. And then this one, more, I don't usually like to try look for modern ones, but I thought this really captured, it shows, let's see, it shows a baby. So it shows Laima with a little baby, and it's hard to make out what's in the water of the other one. I think it might be, I'm not sure. But you probably can't see it, but there's a pregnant baby, pregnant mother right above the baby. Yeah, so different images, you can find them of your own if you're captivated by her. Oh, lovely to see you, Susan. So that is Laima's story. I was going to sing, I can't remember the chant I was going to sing for you, something about being born. But I know I've sung it before. So enjoy. Do your own little, especially those of you who have friends or are on a fertility journey yourselves. I actually know and have coached women over the years who've gone through amazing fertility journeys. So I hope you will think of her, and as we are in this springtime, opening up to all that's being reborn time of year. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.